So, what did you miss at Jubilee today? Well, the whole world seems to be celebrating Mother's Day, at least this area seems to be celebrating Mother's Day. So, hey, you missed us acknowledging Mother's Day. There are many of us who came with joyful stories and warm memories and wonderful thoughts. There are also those of us who came grieving, missing our mothers. And some of us came conflicted because, well, there are mothers in our lives who let us down, who couldn't give us what we needed, who just somehow couldn't give us everything that we'd hoped for, even what they wanted to give us. And there were those who came torn and hurt because we've been taken away from our mothers and not given the chance. All of our relationships with parents are complicated, and today we tried to make room for that, to recognize the nurturers in our lives, the ways that we mother and are mothered. We acknowledged as well those who would be mothers, whose greatest desire is to be a mother, and yet somehow that is not possible. We also acknowledge those who choose not to be mothers, even if they can be, even if those around them say they should be. There are many choices to be made. We tried to make room for all of that today. It didn't seem a day that we could ignore, not when the world makes such a big deal of it, and not when we need every now and again a little time just to stop and think about those relationships that are formative, that mean so much. So we did that today. We listened as well to the 23rd Psalm. You probably know it, maybe you don't, but it's the one that says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures." And we did do it in the King James Version because, well, many of us like that poetry, that sound. The valley of the shadow of death has a certain resonance for us. We recognize that. And we wondered about it together. We wondered about those green pastures and still waters that lead us in the paths of righteousness, the ones that restoreth our soul. And we wondered about how God is revealed to us in the natural world, and how that God revealed is not petty or denominational. The waves rolling against the shore, the breeze moving through the forest, the starry canopy at night inspire and fill hearts that know no formal religion. The stars aren't just for United Church folk. The waves aren't just for Christians. The trees aren't just for people of faith. Somehow we are connected to each other, and we are profoundly spoken to by God through creation. We are led in paths. Our souls are restored. We talked about that. And we did talk about the valley, the dark valley, the valley of the shadow of death, and we talked about what that looks like today in 2019 personally, or for our community, or for our world. We talked about the promise that we're not in it alone, and that we walk through it, not under our own power, but sharing. We wondered about that table that we're called to, the one that's set for us in the presence of our enemies. We wondered about that, what it meant to be at table with enemies, and what potential that holds. And we also wondered about being anointed with oil. Anointed. I reminded folks that Christos is the Greek for anointed, Jesus the anointed. Well, I am Norm the anointed, and you are who you are, the anointed. Each of us called, created to be who we are, as friend or parent, as child, as confidant, as volunteer, as worker. All of these things are part of our calling. We are anointed to be who we are, and knowing that we're anointed, well, it makes what we do special. It makes the ordinary perhaps extraordinary. We talked about that. Seeing the world and seeing what we do as significant and having it have purpose and effect, that it matters. Well, when what we do matters, it does seem that our cup runneth over. We talked a little too about goodness and mercy following us. In fact, the better translation is pursuing us. Goodness and mercy always coming after us. And how we have to sometimes slow down, open our eyes, open our hearts, and recognize the goodness and mercy that's there, or bring the goodness and mercy where it's needed. Yeah, we talked about that today. Today was a good day to listen to the 23rd Psalm, to wonder about it. Also, to get excited about the fact that Reverend Ann Denicio will be back next Sunday, and we are so excited to have her back. Yeah, that's what you missed today at Jubilee, and hopefully you won't miss many more, because we do miss you. Until we see you, God bless.